Hi guys, welcome back to another quick video. Today, one on how to get your garden tools up and ready. It's spring now, so it's a good time to touch up all your tools before you start getting everything ready to make them much easier to use. So this time we're gonna sharpen this spade, which is something that I don't think a lot of people know is something you should do, but it makes it much easier to use, and also prepare a handle and another tool. So let's get going. So for sharpening a spade, obviously power tools are ideal because there's not much you can ruin here with an angle grinder. However, if you don't have that, it's also possible to use the biggest and baddest file you got and then just go ham on it until you get kind of an edge here, and it's gonna make digging a lot easier. And just like this, you got your spade restored. As you can see for the angle, because this is a newer one, you could see the resemblance of the original angle that was put into the thing. So I just followed that one. If you have an older one, you can see kind of where we are going here, but it's not that important. Now on to our last tool for the day. This, hoe type thing to loosen up dirt. And for this one, we're going to sharpen up those points. You wouldn't really think about doing that, but it does obviously make sense. If you get harder soil, the sharper those teeth are, the easier work is gonna be. So why not invest a few minutes to sharpen them to save yourself some energy later on. But I'm going to do this on a belt sander this time. So just like that, a very coarse grind on those points. An angle grinder is probably even a better tool for this, because sharpening this on a belt sander is kind of awkward because of the shape. But it does. So here we got the handle of our hoe, and we're gonna restore it a bit. The issue with wooden handles is that technically they're very nice to use, but they do take some care. You can see the resemblance of the varnish. When you buy those at the hardware store, they usually have a coat of varnish on them, which makes them look nice in the store, but absolutely horrific to use as soon as the varnish starts to peel off. Like, even holding this in my hand like this is painful without any gloves. So we do need to restore it. And one way to do it is, by grinding it down with some sandpaper, which is very straightforward. But I'm gonna show you another type of finish that you can do, which also feels pretty nice, even a bit nicer in my opinion. And for this finish, we are going to scrape the handle. For this, I'm going to use this pair of scissors because it has a really nice sharp, on this side, there's a really nice sharp grind here on the edge. But you can use a knife, like a Scandi knife, like a Mora knife. It's very good for this, or any type of a bit stronger knife. And what you're essentially doing is if you go up here, you are scraping the wooden surface. You're just scraping the varnish off, and that exposes the wood underneath, but it does leave you with a different finish that is, if you try it out, is different than sanding, and it's much more pleasing to me. Because if you're sanding wood, usually you have a bit of the fibers sticking up, and then they swell up afterwards. And with the scraping, it's a much smoother finish in my opinion, and I like it better. So we're going to do this and then treat it with some linseed oil. And now, after a few minutes of effort, the handle is finally done, and it is looking pretty nice. This looks already, even without the linseed oil treatment, so much better than before, and you can actually handle it without any gloves, without getting blisters or splinters in the second you touch it. This is so much better. And just like that, we are done with our tool handles again. It's looking much nicer. That was it for this video. I hope you liked it and learned something. If you did, then consider subscribing, giving the video a like, and then I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.